everybody. This is Melissa Swader here in the studio today with Real Talk, Real Business, Real People. And I am so excited to be back here in the studio. Normally I'm here solo and sometimes I might have a guest, but today is a very special day because I have the one and only Rick Helps. And I'm going to get to that. But Rick McHone, I am so excited to have you here in the studio. Welcome.
Well, thank you. This is going to be fun. I like this setup.
This whole setup, I know the studio's great. Rick is actually with eXp Realty, which is a kind of a virtual real estate company. Your office is in the house and out in the
yeah, it's in the cloud.
In the cloud, there it is, you guys. Yeah, and I'm always talking about put your stuff on the cloud. Now that's even better. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit about, because Rick has this awesome YouTube show. He's got thousands of subscribers, and every single day, like clockwork, I see my phone, lighting up that Rick is going live. He has another episode. Sometimes he's solo, sometimes himself, and then other times you have guests on your show to talk about the residential side of real estate. Now, you guys all know that I cover a lot of the commercial side of real estate. I could talk, CRE all day long, but when it comes to the residential side, he is the expert here in Arizona. He's covered, pretty much virtually every part of the valley that you can think of when we're talking about real estate. So let's talk a little bit about your show.
Well, it kind of, I always messed around with YouTube a little bit in real estate in general.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I had taught some advanced YouTube classes for realtors when I was with another brokerage. But last March in 2020, when everything shut down, I'm sitting there thinking real estate's toast. This is who's going to be able to buy a house now? Everybody's going to get laid off. And so I thought, well, I'm going to kick my YouTube presence up a bit, and I'm just going to give updates.
Right.
And so I started with just saying, okay, here's what we see today. Here's how many homes are on the market. Here's how many have sold, and let's just look at the data. And I didn't do it every day. I did, maybe 2 videos a week, and I'd upload them. Mm-hmm. And I had about 250 subscribers. So then I decided I made a little home studio.
And it's really cool, by the way. I can't wait till you guys subscribe to his YouTube channel. We'll get to all that information, but it's really cool because you had 2 versions, right? Yeah.
So so I kicked it up a notch. I got the lights and camera and everything, and did some wallpaper behind it. And it morphed into a morning live stream at 8:30 Monday through Thursday, and then I have a live conversation with my lender on Fridays at 3 o'clock. And it just grew. And I've discovered that if I vary from sharing data at all, my viewership plunges. So I've created a niche.
Yeah. It's all, data, like, not just, he's not just, going, live and talking, throwing out a few numbers, on a note card, and he's reading from a note card. No. He's got a full on screen. He moves the screen over. He shows all these charts. He points it out. Even when you're reading analytics or any statistics, you highlight, you actually drag your mouse over and highlight what you're reading. So, because, sometimes it's hard to focus. There's all these numbers, there's all these graphs, and you're very, very meticulous in pointing out, the resource in which you've obtained the information, as well as just the data itself. And every morning you start out with the number of houses.
Number of homes that are on the market. Yep.
On the market. And from one day to the next, crazy.
Yeah, it gets to where I tell everybody that when you watch this channel, you'll know the numbers and you'll really know the market. And with that information, you'll be a hit at all the cocktail parties.
Yes. What's that show? Melanie Griffith. She had to learn the Constitution, or the Constitution, and she had a teacher, and she had to memorize what to say at this cocktail party.
That's right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I can't remember the movie, but she had to. He would give her. John Johnson would give her the little pull on the ear or, scratch his arm, and she would know which one to answer at the cocktail party.
Well, I was kidding just a couple of weeks ago that you can have all this information and you'll really, when somebody at Thanksgiving says, oh, wow, what about this real estate market? And I said, and there you'll be with all this information, and you'll probably end up sitting by yourself after a while. But it's the other thing I noticed on YouTube that I still see today that actually kind of drives me nuts is that people like clickbait. So the crash is coming. And the most recent example is Zillow. Okay, Zillow got out of the market.
This is a big topic, right? Zillow.
Yeah, so they decided they had to stop selling, and there was a reason that they did it. And if you researched, you could find it out. But all of a sudden, there's dozens of videos. Zillow's out. Here's the crash. Here and it's like, no. So when I read a headline, I like to go in and find out the devil behind the deals, like foreclosures. Mm-hmm. Okay, foreclosures are up 67%. Well, we only have 140 pre-foreclosures in Phoenix, so you can be up 67%. Big deal. In order to get to the same levels that we had in 2008, we have to be up 7,200%. But 67% is a great headline.
See, when we talk about, his data, like, did y'all get that? So say that again, because some people may not follow numbers as well.
A big percentage can sometimes be a small number.
Okay.
And so, but it makes a headline. So you'll see a title that says foreclosures up 67%. So you automatically think, oh my God, here we go. The market's crashing.
Yeah, but that 67% is a very low number is what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, we could be up 200% and it would still be, less than 300 homes.
Okay.
So in order to get to the numbers that we saw during the Great Crash, we would have to have foreclosures up 7,200%.
Right. Wow, that's a lot.
Now that's a headline.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
God, I just had a flashback of the 2007, 8, 9, years, if y'all know what I'm talking about. So to tell me a little bit more about, so you have, when you're representing a client, because, you get, for anyone who I really encourage you to watch his show, and make sure you subscribe to his channel right here. I'm going to put this right here at the bottom because I want you guys to, every time that he does have a new episode coming out, he also just pre-schedules sometimes. So if you do have an opportunity and you see it pop up on your phone, you can at least know, it's coming up in the future. And he does repost, sometimes you post twice so you won't miss it. And some of these will really resonate with you. Some of your titles, just look for his titles, his show titles, because this might be something that's spot on to what you are doing, what you're looking at, what you're looking for. I know that you've told me in the past, some of his audience members have actually become clients.
Oh, yeah. I've had, to be honest, this year, 100% of my business has come from YouTube with the exception of one client.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. It's been
wow.
And I got my first contact. In fact, they're going to be repeat clients because they're going to buy and sell again or sell and buy. And I only had 250 subscribers at the time. And I got a phone call that said, I don't know if you work in this area, but we watch your channel every day. And those usually how the conversations start. I'm a subscriber. I wanted to reach out to you. And I'll pull up in front of a house and they're standing there smiling. I have no idea what they look like.
Right. It's because he's so famous on YouTube.
I just, they go, hey, Rick. And okay. This must be the client.
This is the small town celebrity that we get here in the Phoenix area. Because
it's weird.
Because, when we are podcasting or out there on YouTube and we're just filming, this is what we do every day. We're talking to people, about the topics of interest that, we, specialize in. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, hey, wait, you're on YouTube. Or, hey, wait, don't you have a podcast? And I'm like, yeah. And then
and my
people
channel
know
is
you.
Small.
Huh?
I mean, relatively speaking, my channel is small.
Well,
when you look at some of the others that are out there that have, 40,000 subscribers or 80,000 subscribers. I got 2,100, although I grew by 30 yesterday. And I have no idea why. But I was in Costco and this guy goes, Rick? And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking,
he's like,
he's got a mask on and I'm staring at him like this. I go, I don't recognize you. He goes, oh, no, you wouldn't. I watch you on YouTube.
Well, see, that's amazing. Well, it's kind of, you least expect it. I mean, it's similar to Instagram is, it's out there. You show up in, because he has such popular analytics. And, in fact, let's talk about that. You just received a notification from YouTube,
An achievement, they call it.
Achievement award for what is it, 25,000 hours?
25,000 hours of watch time.
25,000 hours, y'all. Put that into perspective. You don't even watch that much in a day. I mean, an hour or two of TV time a day, if we're lucky.
Well,
think about that. And his shows are not very long. I mean, your shows are what, 40 minutes to?
No, 8 to 10 minutes.
8 to 10 minutes, but on Fridays it's a little longer.
Fridays about 40 minutes when I interview Pat. Yeah, and Pat's my lender buddy. And here's some of the interesting statistics that I'm always throwing in front of Pat. And this is what I love about YouTube. Is let's roll the tape back a few years on real estate, and we have a lunch and learn, right? So we're gonna go rent a place. We're gonna provide lunch, and we're gonna talk to you about being a first-time home buyer. Mm-hmm. And you spend, $600, and 5 people show up.
Oh God!
So now we do a video, and it's free. Doesn't cost us anything. We have 35 people that watch us while we're live. But overall, the channel now I have. 275,000 impressions. In other words, the thumbnail gets in front of 275,000 people. That's a lot of postcards.
Yeah. So for those who don't know for those of you who do not know what a thumbnail is, it is the image that is associated with all your podcasting shows or anything that you're posting. So, for every video, if you go to my YouTube, if you're on my YouTube channel, you can kind of go through my playlist and you can see all the different thumbnails that represent that video. Some people just like to, because YouTube will take the best 3 photos of your video and you can use one of those. Or you can upload a thumbnail. And he has some really eye-catching thumbnails. I mean, basically, if you just go to his YouTube channel, they're just nice and bright, primary colors, fun. Rick's got about 1,000 different poses. Yeah, exactly. Totally made for camera, for real. But the website, let's get to your website. It's rickhelps.
rickhelps.com, yeah.
He even has T-shirts. And so I think there was a couple of pictures where he went and a couple of his clients were actually wearing.
Well, actually, that client, his wife made that for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He showed up wearing a rickhelps.com.
When you've made it, when somebody else makes a T-shirt.
Yeah, and they were from Seattle. So it was like, I haven't had T-shirts made yet. That's on my bucket list. But I just thought that was so funny. He shows up. I hadn't met him yet, right? So I show up at the house, and he's standing up front. Just
grinning, rickhelps.com. So you can't forget that, y'all. So tell me, what can we expect? I mean, I know in the beginning of the year, let's just talk about the beginning of the year when it started. We're coming off of COVID. We're still coming off of COVID. It's just been this lingering thing, but at the end of 2020, I remember everybody's going, oh my God, I can't wait for 2021. I cannot wait to talk about 2021. So we start at the beginning of the year. How was the real estate market moving after this and then moving into 2021? Did you see any changes relative to, do you think, because of the pandemic?
Well, yeah. The first thing we noticed was second homes increase. People moved from the city out to the outlying areas where they thought they probably would never live, like Buckeye, Peoria, because they don't have to come into an office anymore.
Right.
But I think the first thing I noticed was people were living in these luxury apartments. You can't use the gym. You can't use the pool. You can't even hang out in the clubhouse.
The amenities were all
and
stripped.
You got a dog, and you're like, why am I living here? I can't use any of these amenities, so let me find a house. That's the first thing I noticed.
Yeah.
At a time when I thought real estate was just going to stop.
That makes sense because I was one of those people. I don't have a pet, but I was one of those people. Some people pay for luxury living because of the amenities. You don't have to pay $100 for a gym fee. We have a beautiful fitness center. gorgeous pool, almost resort like, luxury living. And
you can't use it.
you can't use it. And all they say, well, you're not paying for that. You're paying for the, your apartment space or your condo space. You're not actually paying for the amenities. But I know that there was so much frustration even then, because then they were like, when it slowly started opening up, they're like, you can go to the fitness center, but you have to wear a tag and you still have to wear a mask, and there can only be 5 people in at a time. I mean, it was just so surreal of living, so I could see how that people were going, screw this, I'm going to go buy a house.
Yeah. And it happened
or a condo
waves.
or a townhome.
Yeah.
So that's what you saw. People were just moving out. Where when you say the outer areas, were they cheaper areas? Is that
yes? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, at first, you could get into a house for $350. Now and this is a national problem.
Yeah.
There's just nothing available. I thought I knew my numbers in real estate, but I didn't know them as well as I do now because I wasn't presenting them to other people. When I get up at 6:15, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about, and I start looking and reading, and I start moving the tabs over over to the next screen.
I'm still sleeping.
By 8:30, I don't call you. Hey,
I know, not
by
me.
8:30, I've got things lined out, but it forces me to really dive into it. So I also say I'll put something up that has a headline, and then I go, well, let's see just how true this is. Mm-hmm. And they hit you with a number. How true is it really? And you'll find in the article that they actually backtrack and go, well, however. They'll give you this dynamic headline, and you read down, it's not that big a deal. But I think, like I say, I'm more in tune with my numbers now because I have to present them. And they have to be right. And YouTube's not forgiving. You spell a word wrong on a title, or you give a statistic that's off. They will pounce. In the comment section, it's keyboard warriors, you're all wet. I got one guy that's telling me, you don't see the market, Rick. You don't know what's going on. The end is near. And I'm kind and I don't argue with him. And I go, well, give me some stats. And he never does.
Right.
Never does. Oh, you just don't see it.
It's the people who think that they know better than the person that's actually in the business or the expert in the business.
Well, I don't project anything long-term because, look, CoreLogic didn't get it right. They said we were going to be down 3.1. We're up 30. The Mortgage Bankers Association.
You were up. They were saying 3.1 what?
3.1% down in prices for 2021.
Okay.
That's what they projected. And we were up 30.
Wow.
That's a miss.
That's a big miss.
Mortgage Bankers Association.
That's a strikeout miss.
Yeah, you're off the team.
Yeah. Not just the dugout. You're gone, buddy.
So Mortgage Bankers Association said we were going to be up between 4 and 5%. And again, we were up 30. Well, now they're projecting that we're going to be up 15% the first quarter of 2022. I'm not projecting anything because if those big guys can't get it right, me and a computer, I'm not going to get it right. But what I can get right is tell you where we're at today and what it means for the next quarter.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. What do we see? We're coming to the end. Holidays are near. We just start talking about it. I think, I think for everyone in any sort of real estate and even in commercial, I used to be, a director for a local commercial brokerage, and, we'd always work that third quarter and kind of push and drive that third quarter to get those listings because we want to close them within the next 3-4 months before the end of the year, right? You can't really start listing, in November and December and expect to close these out by the end of the year. We're pushing that into the first or second quarter of the following year. So we'd always do these big pushes. Residential is just a little different though, because no one's really buying around the holidays anyway. You can buy a home within, a short period of time, especially if it's all cash. But, you get around the holidays. Do the interest rates, do they have any weight on whether or not people are buying around the holidays, or is it just because of spending and they just want to see what happens over the next year?
Well, people don't like to move around Thanksgiving and Christmas. Interest rates, we've got a little uptick in buying activity right now because rates are starting to climb.
Okay.
People, when they're going down, they're always waiting for them to go down some more, right? But when interest rates are starting to come up, then they get in a hurry.
They get scared because they don't want it to go up even more. Okay.
Now, every year, Thanksgiving and Christmas, inventory goes down. And you can see it in the chart now. It's just nothing you can do to stop it. You don't want to list your home over the holidays. Although listing your home in December, is the buyers that are coming in are serious. There's not as many of them, but they're buying for a reason. They're probably relocating out here in January, so they have to buy, or they just want something at the first of the year.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to list at all.
No, listing in December is a great move, and so you'll have fewer, lower foot traffic, but more serious buyers. I mean, I listed my house in Fountain Hills in, I think it was 2012, listed at Christmas Eve and had a contract New Year's Eve.
Wow.
And so...
Wait, put that in perspective. Christmas Eve and by New Year's Eve?
Yeah, 1 week.
Wow,
yeah.
1 week?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
must have been one heck of a house.
It was a nice house. But that's the one thing you can look at now. There's no way around it. We're already seeing the numbers. Inventory is going to be really low November and December. I'm going to watch January closely. I have no idea we're at 7,450 homes this morning.
And he knows that because he probably, did you already do a show this morning?
Didn't do a show this morning.
Oh, okay.
But I still look at the number and update my chart. In the normal, and I can't even use the word normal in real estate anymore. I can say on average.
Because nothing's normal.
We have extremes in real estate. So on average, we have 27,400 listings in this market. So, and we're at 7,400. So we could double and still not be what would be considered average. So what's going to happen in January? January is normally when more listings come up. So what's going to happen this year? I don't know.
Now, when you say there, do you see? I might have even commented on one of his shows about the influx of people that are moving from California and Chicago and New York and all these other states. Freeways are crazy here in Arizona now. There's a lot more traffic. What do you have any idea as to? Do you think that more people will move into the valley and buy? Or do you think that, because people they're not stopping the moves. People are still moving here. The question is, are they buying right now because of because what is the medium price right now? Like, where are we at roughly?
429.
Now, would that be like Phoenix, or is that kind of
it's the whole, what we consider the whole valley.
The whole valley, 429,000.
Yeah. So
I'm like thinking. I mean, you probably have to have a really nice salary, a very nice income, down payment, unless you're doing an FHA, or if you are lucky enough to have a VA loan. But, on a conventional loan, you're looking at 20% down. So how is that? I mean,
a lot of people are coming in with 10%, or they're going ahead and, they've raised the FHA loan limit so you can get it for 3.5.
Right.
The PMI, if you got good credit, is not as daunting as people think it is.
What is PMI for people who don't understand that?
Private mortgage insurance.
Okay.
It's not as heavy of a payment as you think it is.
This is a lender requirement.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, the people that are moving here want to buy. And so their challenge is, they're trying to time it to where they can close when they get here, because it's really hard and expensive to get short-term rentals. So sometimes I'll see them come in and go, well, I signed up for a 6-month lease, so let's just keep looking. And that's a challenge. The other challenge that we have too is investor traffic is so big. It's 23% of our business now. In fact, it's about 1,000 units a month of investors buying homes and either making them rentals or fixing them up and flipping them. And so the rental market is going crazy. Now, if they overbuild in rentals, eventually rent will start coming down. These investors will just scatter.
Now, when you're telling the viewers rentals, are you talking about multifamily rentals? Are you talking about people who are renting homes?
People that are renting homes. The investors are buying 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes and putting them out as a rental. In fact, Zillow's liquidating their purchases, right? They're just getting out of the business.
Getting rid of their portfolio.
They sold 2,000 homes to one investment group.
Wow.
Just here, you have these 2,000 homes. And they're turning them all into rentals. In fact, there's companies out there, that, especially in Arizona, Wall Street loves them. They're these build-to-rent communities. They're houses.
Yeah. Do you think that there are still these rentals? Because, if you're renting a house, usually you have to come up with your, deposits, your first month's rent, your half of last month's rent, on here. That still could be $5,000. I mean, that could be still $4,000 or $5,000 down, to move into a home. So, right? I mean,
yeah, but I'll tell you what we're seeing. In fact, there were some numbers that came out this morning on household wealth. There's a lot of money out there. People have saved their money. I'm surprised these young millennials that come up and they go, "Oh, I got 80,000 in the bank."
That's because they're all on TikTok making a whole bunch of money doing some whatever, dance that they're doing.
They hunkered down and saved. I mean, most of these $1,400 stimulus checks they got either went into Robinhood and bought stocks, or they just put it in the bank, and they didn't. There wasn't a whole lot of consuming going on there. People just hung on to their money. So it's harder to get into a house, simply because you can't find them. People don't want to list their home because they go, if I sell my home, I'm going to be homeless because I'm afraid I can't find another one.
Right. I hear that all the time, like I want to move, but there's no way there's no way I'm going to find a house.
Yeah.
And even if people had equity in their homes, I think it's still a little scary, but I would agree with you. I know that there was a lot of people that I know that became a lot more frugal, over the last probably year or two. With everything going on, and just, I mean, I'm not a politician and I don't like never talk about politics, but I think that everybody was so confused for so long, and we're hit with this COVID, and we're hit with, elections, and all at the same time. I think people just got scared in general, and just, like where there was probably splurging a little bit more on things, or going out to, eat a lot, where I know people used to go eat out a lot, and they weren't eating out so much anymore. And, granted, if you have a family of 4, that's $80 to $100 a pop. Yeah. So, those little things do add up. I know myself, I obviously, in 2020, I wasn't going out as much either because, my whole career is based on networking events and PR and media coverage. And none of the media outlets were having these conferences or these events. None of them were having the forums I'm used to going to and covering. No one was really having any fundraising events as well, which is something I cover. So, I wasn't traveling. I was just saving more money on gas than anything. People weren't driving anymore. So there's a lot of ways, I think, where people did, indirectly save without even knowing that they were saving.
Yeah, my middle son, he's 31. He said he only put 1,300 miles on his car last year. Wow. And I think part of that is he went to San Diego one weekend. So, he stayed home and cooked. Bought an air fryer, and so
experimented.
But I think, the other thing too, I really want to let people know is that, the 2008 crash was kind of a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
Do I see another crash coming? There's always the possibility, but that's the only crash. And when I say crash, we're talking real estate going down over 40%. So that's a crash. But I've only seen one in my lifetime. So the people that are sitting back waiting for a crash, you may wait a long time. And I've only seen one. And that one was pretty obvious that it was coming. We had a year and a half, 18 months of inventory out there. And today we're less than a month. So you can't have a crash with low inventory. It's mathematically impossible.
So basically it was saying, if you guys are freaking out, no need to freak out anymore. Just sit back and wait and see how the market plays out. The interest rates are going up a little bit, but do you also see, in the new year, do you also see them coming down a little bit?
It could go either way.
Okay.
So I'm not a bond market expert, but, I read a lot of stuff, and you can easily make the case that rates could go crazy, and at the same time lay out a scenario that says that they may come down. And a lot of it has to do with this unraveling in China with their, residential and commercial real estate. And you guys are probably feeling that in commercial real estate too. I'm sure they're watching China very closely. Evergrande is 20% of China's GDP, or real estate is.
You're going to confuse the readers if you don't explain that.
Yeah.
I mean, the readers, the viewers. If you
Well, Evergrande's a big developer in China.
Yeah.
They're the major player. And and the majority of their debt is held in U.S. dollar-denominated bonds. And they missed their bond payment last week. And so everybody thinks, oh, China's just going to come in and buy them out. Well, China's said, no, we're not buying you out. And so there's another company over there there's cracks in the foundation. So this could be a contagion. And so if you look at the United States, and now there's a global problem with liquidity, of money that's available, I don't think the Fed's going to raise rates. They're going to have to pull them back down again.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of variables. Yeah, there's a lot of variables which you're clearly. There's so much more probably to cover. We couldn't possibly cover.
Oh, that's a whole nother.
Yeah, but it just goes to show that you just have to pay attention. This is what I love about his show is that he's constantly valuable content is what I preach every single day in my career as a marketing and media professional. When you're people think that even having a podcast, like, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to start a podcast. Well, why? Like, what is your, why do people start podcasts? To begin, like, what credentials is that going to help you bring, or for a purpose? Like for me, I mean, it's very clear. I'm in marketing and media, and this is what I talk about. I interview people in business. My show, obviously, Real Talk, Real Business with real people, and it doesn't get any more real than this. Talking about what's going on in the residential real estate, how that even has some impact on the commercial side of things, or vice versa. It all plays into one because really, which is interesting just to point out, is a lot of people who are moving into Arizona and they are buying homes in Arizona. So a lot of these people, and I couldn't tell you the statistics because I'm just out of reading so much about it, is some of these people who are moving from other states, they are business owners. So they are looking just as much for a residential property as they are looking for their commercial space, because they've either sold their buildings out in other areas where they made a lot of money and they're coming here because the cost of maybe commercial is much lower here in this market. So it plays together. It's kind of one and the same. And I think that, if you really want to understand the real estate market every day and just learn, you can get some really great tips and valuable information from, Rick Helps and, Rick McHone right here. By the way, we did not plan this blue. I don't know if you noticed, I walked in and he was wearing blue and I go, I did not plan this out, but it just totally works out. So is there anything else that you wanted to share before we, call it a day?
Well, I think just quickly for people that are looking and trying to consider buying a house, things don't change quickly. Mm-hmm. And don't look at housing as a stock. People are, where's the peak? Where's the bottom? Where's a good time? Stop treating houses like a stock price. Mm-hmm. Zillow tried that with their algorithms, and they failed miserably.
Right.
And they thought that they could just have this math, and it would forecast out, and they were going to buy it now and sell it tomorrow, and it cost them billions. And for the average consumer that's out there that just needs a place to live, buy it, get a fixed interest rate, and stay there.
You hear that?
So don't treat this, don't think I'm going to buy in 2021 and I'm going to sell in 2023 and I'm not getting in until I have guaranteed depreciation. You'll be spinning your wheels for a long time. So just find the house you want, finance it with a fixed rate.
Do you hear that, y'all?
And enjoy it. Get a dog.
You said make sure you find a house that you want, enjoy it, keep it.
Yep.
Get a pet with the doggy door.
Yep.
Because people like me who do not get up at 6:15 in the morning, you do not want to have to walk your dog. Oh gosh, it's so funny because I admit that I'm not like a morning person at all. So if I ever got a dog, which I do want to get, like a Alaskan Klekai. Y'all have to look this up. It's a small miniature toy husky. But if I ever get it, it will be where I'm in a position to have a doggy door because I am not getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, well, I am so thankful for you to come into the
thanks for
studio
having me. It's
today.
fun
It's
stuff.
been really great. Now check out his website, rickhelps.com, right here, and make sure you guys subscribe to his show. Click right there, and if there is. And by the way, when you are watching his show live, so this is why you subscribe, is because you will get notified that he's going live, but you also get notified later that, he did post one of his shows. Again, he posts a couple times. But the live shows are really great because they do open, he does open up for commenting, and he's very good about that. But I just want to point out, even though he said there's about 35 to maybe 50 people watching live, some of his shows get, by the time it's all said and done within a 24-hour period, you're looking at 700 or 800 views. I mean, one of his views, I think you're at 5,000. I mean, I don't know. Because people are always watching his videos all the time. Doesn't matter if it was from a week ago or from 2 months ago. It's the title that resonates with a lot of people, maybe questions they might have had. So feel free to reach out to Rick through YouTube or, go to rickhelps.com and, reach out. And if there's any homes, or if you're looking to buy, or you're looking to sell, or sell and then buy, Rick does it all. There's no better website, better telling than rickhelps.com, I think.
Appreciate that.
I think that fits perfectly for you, and not just for the physical part of finding a house or selling a house, but also providing all this valuable content to his viewers and anyone interested in the real estate market in general. And not just from Arizona. He has a lot of viewers from people all over the country.
Yeah. I'm always surprised by that.
Yeah. So thank you so much. And we'll have to do this again soon.
Yeah, you got a cool studio here.
Yeah, thank you so much. We got all the lights, got my, in the background. But I just wanted to thank you guys, everyone, for watching. And if you're tuning in on SoundCloud or Spotify, Anchor, one of these, I really appreciate you listening in. And you can always watch on our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to mine as well, Real Talk, Real Business, of course. And this is Melissa Swader with Real Talk, Real Business, Real People with Rick McHone with eXp Realty, saying goodbye, everybody, from the studio. All right. Keep it real out there, everyone. Bye-bye.